What's up, gamers? This is Yuban with a Mechabellum Replay commentary. Today we are going to showcase a game of defense as Elite Specialist. Looking at our starting packs, all of them look really good. However, we decided to go for the Elite Spec because it's starting out with 2 packs of level 1 sledgehammers and 3 packs of level 1 fangs. Now, when we play Elite, we always want to have the starting packs to include a pack of chaff, whether it's fangs or crawlers, just so we still have some low-level chaff units at our disposal for just pure tankiness, so we're not at risk of feeding our opponent too much experience by recruiting, say, level 2 fangs in the front just for his units to kind of eat up. Same goes for the sledgehammer. Having sledgehammers at level 1 as just pure tank and kind of a little bit of chaff clear is really nice on round 1. Super stable in the current meta. Well, our opponent is CMully, playing as Fire Badger spec, starting out with a Sabertooth and chaff units. Seeing this combination, you can already guess that our opponent is going to rely on Fire Badgers for chaff clear going forward, which is a really powerful aggro or headbutt unit in the current meta, especially after the recent nerf that happened today. We had to make a decision on round 1. We could have either gone for level 2 Arclights for chaff clear, or we could have gone for level 2 marksman. In this case, we decided to go for level 2 marksman because we thought if we had gone for Arclight, sure, we should be able to clear all 5 packs of the chaff units that our opponent is throwing at us. However, we would be left with not enough DPS to take down the Sabertooth, and then we are at a higher risk of our Arclights feeding experience to our opponent's Sabertooth. We decided to go for the marksman because we were hoping that by leaving the Chungas alive and keeping the sledgehammers in the back line, we hope to be able to chaff clear well enough for at least to buy time for our marksman to lock on to the Sabertooth. Let's see if that's how it works out. It seems like our front-facing fangs and the late-arriving fangs are doing a phenomenal job chaff clearing and tanking tons of shots from our opponent's Sabertooth, allowing us to still have a lot of chaff units left alive, which means our marksmen are going to have a clear line of shot at our opponent's Sabertooth, granting us a round 1 victory, dealing quite a bit of damage, and most importantly, we did not feed our level 2 units to our opponent's Sabertooth. We don't want them to get out of control. Going into round 2, let's look at the unit selections again. We decided to go for the Wasp because that's the one pack of unit that counters everything that shows up. If our opponent goes for Phantom Ray, our marksmen are going to have a good time, and our Wasp also hard counter the Phantom Ray to a certain extent. We did not go for the Hounds because we wanted to go into Arclights. Going into this game, we really wanted to play Carry Arclight, especially with Elite Spec. And the steel balls in a defensive scenario is just not so good. And so you're going to see us picking the Wasp as a final result. Opponent decided to go for the Phantom Ray, and seems like he's going to try to make a cheeky attack at our weak side tower. Thinking about along that line, we put our Wasp also on the weak side tower here. You'll see that we put it right at the same line as our weak side tower. This allows this pack of Wasp to both respond to the deep flank units if our opponent goes for something here. However, if there's nothing in front or nothing here and opponent chooses to do nothing on his weak side, then we are actually at a pretty close distance for these fast-moving wasp to grab a early tower debuff. This is why I like to put my defending or reinforcement units on the weak side, just right next to the tower. And this allows us to be flexible and change our approach based on our opponent does. Going into this round 2, we realized we need a chaff clear. So we decided to go for the 2 packs of Arclights. Once again, trying to play Carry Arclight. We put 1 in front of the tower. That's shielded by the fangs. So this pack of fang is going to act as some kind of, it's kind of like a lightning rod for all the units. All of our opponent's units are going to congregate right in front of the fangs to around this point. Allows this one Arclight to just chaff clear away all day. And by the time the frontline fangs are dead, the backline fang hopefully should make their way forward. And we always put another Arclight on the side here along the tower, or maybe even 2 squares behind the tower, to defend against this kind of deep flank shenanigan, which is a very common move for the aggressor player. From here, because we are Elite Spec, we naturally ran out of money. We only could deploy 2 Arclights. We sold out the Chungus. With 150, that's still not enough to additional recruit another unit. So we decided to go for the attack enhancement, buffing up our level 2 Arclight's attack damage, hoping that they could help us take down the eventual Fire Badger and maybe even the Sabertooth. Opponent decided to go for a deep flank crawler pull to pull away our fangs and the wasp into the corner, allowing the Phantom Ray to have a clear path into the weak side tower. Luckily, we decided to put down 1 more sentry missile in the last second with our 50 supply left over, recognizing that this is very much a possible play from our opponent, given that Wasp and Phantom Ray were just dropped. This means our opponent put down 300 supply of units on the weak side that did not do a whole lot for him, while we were able to reinforce our defending side with 300 supplies of Arclights, which means chaff clear was no longer an issue, and our marksmen found their mark right away, taking our opponent down to 3000 HP. Opponent immediately go for the round 3 advanced power system. While we were sitting here looking at this sub Arclight card, costing the opportunity cost and the cost combined for this card is 150. That means we need to recruit more than 3 Arclights to even make our money back. Otherwise, it'll just be a negative tempo. I think in hindsight, this was a terrible mistake, as we needed the tempo for this round. As you can see here, because we were forced to grab the crawlers to match up our opponent's deep flank crawlers, we're only able to grab 1 more Arclight. That means on this round, we are still down 100 supplies relative to our opponent. And we also threw down a sentry missile in the previous round, meaning we're down in economy, down in tempo, against a composition that could easily snowball if the Sabertooth end up getting a lot of levels. That would be a scary one. Opponents sold out of the Phantom Ray, grabbing some extra money, while we decided to keep the Wasp, because we just wanted this pack of unit here to help us defend our weak side tower. And if nothing gets in front of them, they could even grab us a tower debuff. Here you see the power of the deep flank distraction. pulling the slow-moving Arclight all the way back, while our marksmen are now stuck shooting at chaff units. And that bought enough time for our opponents to clear up the sledgehammer tanks in the front, allowing the Sabertooth to have a clear line of shot on the level 2 marksmen and the level 2 Arclights, granting them lots of experience. And this is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Seems like the advanced power system was a very favorable card for our opponent to pick up, granting him a round win on round 3. We even lost our sentry missile to the tanks that are all the way in the back. That is just unfortunate. Okay, going into round 4. We thought we don't need laser sight because our opponent's literally just rushing into us. However, the shield airdrop could be a pretty cool thing to do here for our deep flank crawler. Our thought here was perhaps we can shield our crawlers while they are fighting our opponent's level 1 crawler, and then have them pop out of the shield to take down our opponent's level 1 fire badgers. And this is why we decided to put down the shield this way. We also decided to put down one more pack of crawlers on the side here. You'll see that we position it in a way that half of the crawlers go forward and the other half goes back. The reason is that I didn't want the whole pack to go in to die to this sentry missile. And I desperately need something in front of these sledgehammers to avoid them from getting instant locked on by the Sabertooth. However, what we did not expect was our opponent going for a lightning storm on round 4. Here we have 4,500 HP. We're very healthy. And I would not have thought he would pick the lightning storm, because if you're hoping this spell is to come back, you're banking on the game going to like round 9, I believe. Okay, seems like our barrier in our shield airdrop worked out exactly the way that we intended to. However, I did not know that level 2 crawlers die so quickly to level 1 fire badgers. And with the lightning storm clearing all of our chaff and killing all of our marksmen, our opponent is just going to produce this overwhelming victory, even getting a tower, our weak side tower, for extra experience, allowing this Sabertooth to get to level 2 as well. So in hindsight, this lightning storm granted our opponent a lot of tempo, some experience, and most importantly, allows him to just keep building the momentum. Now going into round 5, opponent goes for the intensive training, recognizing that level 3, level 4 Sabertooth could be just even that much more devastating. While we decided to go for the skip, recognizing we are already Elite Spec. We don't need an extra spell to give us high level units. We can easily just click the Elite Recruitment to get some level 3 units. From here, being a greedy and stubborn player, I decided to build more Arclights, thinking that I picked up the card already. I'm gonna get my money's worth. I need at least 2 more Arclights, and that's exactly what we did. Go for the Arclight range, reinforcing the left side of our tower, and then putting one more pack down here, hoping that the level 2 Arclight can take down the fire badgers. From here, trying to utilize the oil that we put down in the previous round by getting our opponent to light it on fire. recognizing opponent has tons of chaff right behind this patch of oil. And you'll see that in the previous round, we purposely put down the oil quite a bit on top of our opponent's units because we didn't want it to get lit on fire in the previous round. We wanted it to be far back, so there's no chance for our crawlers to even get near the fire, to get near the oil. So we can utilize the oil effect for 2 full rounds. And you can see here, taking a stab at our opponent's weak side tower, which is now level 3, with our newly added replicate tech. After seeing our opponent having tons of crawlers in the flank, right on the line, thinking that, hey, maybe our level 2 crawlers can just win us the crawler war and overwhelm the fire badgers. However, what I did not anticipate was the fire badgers just doing work. Even though we were able to replicate and make more and more crawlers in the process, our opponent's fire badgers had no problem clearing them all up. Now, going into round 6, opponent goes for the fortress. We also go for the fortress. So, at this point, prior to the unit drop, we were faced with a few options. We knew that we needed some kind of anti-unit unit. So we need a fortress, boat, or melting point, or maybe even scorpions. Something that can deal high damage. In this kind of scenario, a melting point is not exactly the best choice because our opponent has so many chaff and so many medium-sized units to boot to support the saber tooth. So we were either thinking about a boat or fortress, some kind of unit that has a little bit of a splash that can help you with chaff clear, so allowing them to make their mark on the medium-sized units and the heavy units. And in this case, with the fortress drop, it was the perfect choice for us to pick up. Here I noticed our opponent has the Mustangs and crawlers in the back. And now that we have level 2 crawlers with replicate, I wanted to make them a little even more annoying by putting them in the deep flank and accompanying with a single Arclight in the back, hoping to take down maybe 4 packs of chaff along with the Mustangs in the process. From here, we decided to go for a little funky side mobile beacon for our level 2 crawlers, recognizing that they no longer serve their purpose to light up the fire, but we don't want to sell them yet. Let's see what could happen if we were to pull our opponent's army to the left side, where we are a little stronger, and that's going to mitigate the annoying distraction that our opponent is putting onto us. With 550 supplies left, and we already mass recruiting in the process, we are going to go for the level 2 attack enhancement, still hoping for Carry Arclights to work in the process. So giving them a little bit more damage buff, and then just put down a couple sentry missiles to try to speed up the clearing of these annoying crawlers on the side. You can see the power of this mobile beacon effectively pulling all of our opponent's main army to the left side, delaying the push into our tower. However, with everything on the right side being disposed of by the fire badgers, that tricky little mobile beacon play seemed to have not paid off that much. And that means our opponent are going to grab even more experience on the level 2 Sabertooth and dealing a lot of damage going into round 7. Now our opponent has 2 potential level 3 Sabertooth. things are getting scary. And with intensive training, now it's a level 4 Sabertooth with a absorption module. Recognizing that, okay, if we're gonna go Fortress, we need to commit to it. And we can instantly grab level 2 fortresses, making them really powerful. So let's give this guy the absorption module. So in the case that they lock on to our opponent's Sabertooth, they can trade shot for shot and win the fight. No problem. Trying our shield airdrop play once again, and then just putting down one more pack of crawler in the front to delay this pack of Sabertooth, because now our fortresses have range enhancement. We don't mind keeping our opponent's units at bay, so we can spend some time killing the fire badgers first before we can lock onto the Sabertooth in the process. Opponent respecting our deep flank, going for a pack of fire badgers right on the line. I actually didn't recognize this during the game, as after the deep flank, I just leave it. I recognize the job is done. Okay, from here, we decided to move our crawler in the deep corner here and try to go for our opponent's strong side tower. That's level 1. Let's see if it does anything. Nope, opponent's missiles it out. Let's see, look at this, level 2 fortress, able to one-shot all of the fire badgers on the side. And now we're locked onto the level 3 fire badger, level 3 Sabertooth. 3-shotting it, and 2-shotting the level 2 fire badger. This must be the power of our attack enhancement doing work. However, with our opponent's level 4 Sabertooth breaking our tower, our fortresses were just gunned down like nothing. Look at this guy, dealing 35,000 damage. That's just insane. This is such a powerful build, guys. You gotta try it. Fire badgers with Sabertooth in aggro. And just so sick. As your fire badgers get levels too, they become so tanky in the process. Luckily, we were able to clean up the right side of the board enough to survive with still 900 HP left, allowing us to continue to build our fortresses in the process. And here a very nice giant unit showed up, the barrier item. Even though our opponent's level 4 Sabertooth is just going to one-shot our barrier, no problem. It still provides a little bit of a buffer for our chaff units in the process. From here, we decided to double tech our fortresses, recognizing that they were doing some major work on the right side of the board. So why don't we reinforce the left side? Get another tech, make them shoot twice as fast, since range is not a problem at this moment. And let's take another stab at our opponent's level 3 tower. Here we decided to check the HP, 60,000 HP. That means we're just going to need 4 shots from the fortress to take down this level 3 tower. And as I said earlier, any kind of tower debuff in a headbutt position can be tremendously helpful in aiding our victory. And lastly, we just took our time to play around with where we want to put the fortress. We thought if we had put it here, we can instant target the level 3 fire badgers. However, I remember the purpose of this fortress is to be able to target onto our opponent's Sabertooth. As the Sabertooth makes its way into the level 2 tower, we figured that this one fortress is just going to die very quickly. So we need somebody on the side here to take free shots at this unit. Let's see if that's how it works out. Seems like our oil play doesn't get lit up, and our level 2 fortress is able to make very quick work of our opponent's level 3 tower. And that means all of our fortresses are able to stay alive and deal tremendous damage to our opponent's medium-sized unit board, even cleaning up the level 4 Sabertooth with the item in the process. It's very fortunate. And I'm very happy that the oil didn't get light up either. I would say that's a little bit of a luck, and also thanks to our opponent's high-level Fire Badgers. And with that one round, we're able to take our opponent down to 370 HP, essentially making this round the very last round of the game. It's whoever wins this round will win the game. Looking at the reinforcement, opponent went for the haste module, while we decided to go for the photon coating, recognizing that this unit is right on the line, so it's very weak to any kind of frontline damage, maybe whether it's a Sabertooth with double shot or a melting point. And here is where I went, oh crap, our opponent's lightning storm is back. This is bad news bear. This is going to clear all the chaff for him, and potentially even taking down our Arclights in the process. So we decided to reinforce our Arclights by leveling them up, making them a lot tankier, and even leveling our fortresses now to level 3 on each side. Now these guys are just have so much HP and so much DPS with the launcher overload. It's insane. Opponent decided to go for a beacon play to go around the fire. However, in this case, I thought maybe he could have just left the beacon, because he knows that this oil is going to get lit on fire. That means his tanky units will no longer get slowed down, so they can just move straight forward. Instead, maybe he could have beaconed his Mustangs this way or right into the corner here so they don't die to the fire. Just my random thought watching this replay. We decided to take another stab at our opponent's level 3 tower by putting down a missile interceptor, putting down a shield, and a pack of Arclight to help with chaff clear. However, we did not anticipate our opponent building a level 3 Sabertooth using the intensive training and put it right on the line. This guy is going to basically two-shot our fortress pretty easily. Let's see. And recognizing that if our marksmen both die to the lightning storm, we would no longer have any meaningful anti-air, and we could easily lose the round to the Phoenixes or some kind of other air cheese. So we decided to buy one more pack of marksmen and put it right behind our level 2 fortress on the pushing side. From here, just one more missile, having the Wasp still in the flank to help us. Let's see how this trade goes. You can see the Sabertooth just almost instantly killed our fortress. Even with the lightning storm in full effect, it seemed like we were able to buy enough time to clear chaff, especially with the fire lighting the ground, which allowed our level 3 fortress on both sides to deal tremendous damage. Look at this, 200,000 damage done this round. And luckily, we had one more marksman left alive that was able to take down our opponent's level 2 Phoenix in the process. And with our level 3 tanky boys here, there's nothing that can kill it. And that completes a round 9 comeback from our opponent's very relentless, high-speed, high-level Sabertooth push with the newly buffed up Fire Badgers. I hope you guys enjoyed the game as much as I did. Thanks for watching. Until next time.